Hello everyone, my name is Felipe Teixeira. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer for Encodec. And today I'll be talking about AI for furniture specification. I'd love if you could keep in mind that everything you see is live. That means no pre-saved or cached results. With some luck, I won't make a fool of myself for making this decision, ended up having to explain a cryptic error message along the way. If that does end up happening, please bear with me as I'll do my best to work around it to get us going again. Before we proceed, let's work with some basic terminology for what's to come. There's a lot, and I mean a lot, of talk about artificial intelligence nowadays. That conversation is not about AI as much as it about a specific type of AI. Again, more specifically, even a type of machine learning algorithm called LLM for large language models. LLMs originated from a 2017 paper called Attention is All You Need. That's the architecture used in now LLM models nowadays, like ChatGPT, for example. With that out of the way, let's get to the fun part. I want to start by asking you this. When was the last time you asked yourself, do I really know code? Not just CM code, like in general. I want to propose a healthy activity to all developers that are watching this. Can you tell me how many different part numbers those Fika rectangular work surface have? You can actually navigate to the file I've listed in the slide to get started. I give you some time to look into that. Also, please don't mind me while you do that. I'll just switch to my browser real quick for science. Are you still there? Hopefully you are, and you saw something that you cannot explain, right? What just happened? Well, I have always wondered how to bring the web to CT, mostly because I dreamed of creating UIs for CT using JavaScript and HTML. It failed to me to try and see if I could do the opposite. Have you ever wondered what interesting things we could create by leveraging the knowledge we have written down in CM code? I've tried to talk about this with non tech people, but I've constantly been met with a question mark, a face, and disbelief. My understanding was that there were two major issues with my discourse. Well, three if you consider my English. I was either too dreamy, more often than not, when a claim sounds too bold or too good to be true, our brains shut down and we go into the interlude music mode internally. Or it could have been way too abstract. This is the most common scenario, I believe. When I talked about talking to CT code, or leveraging CT's knowledge, I was way too techy and very little practical. Most of us needs visuals. We need to interact and to explore around to form an opinion and get excited about stuff that hasn't been done before. Lucky us, we can get there using AI. Before I show you more of the ideas and demos I have to show you today, I want to discuss why we should keep CM as furniture's official language. To me, it always sounded backwards that we should strive to write documentation for code that should have been written based on documentation. We all tried to keep our systems and products' documentations manually updated using tools like Confluence, Jira, Notion, or maybe your old physical notepad. It always ends up the same way. It gets outdated really fast. Plus, we want to ensure that our colleagues and other teams in our company have access to it, and that by itself can be challenging. Different people have different interests in mind and different interpretations of the same document. In that sense, we are very fortunate that CT offers domain specific language in which we can really be descriptive about the products and their rules without adding a lot of boilerplate logic to it. Doing so ensures that the information is standardized and can logically describe even the most complex workflows. CM also allows us to map the flow of information and data through our classes and even create custom syntax to convey complex ideas in a simpler way. Code, in general, is impartial and lacks the ability to materialize any sort of cultural bias. For better or worse, it provides a safe space for storing complex information and data. In summary, what I'm trying to say is that CM is a great language to use when writing about furniture and graphics in a succinct manner. Can we agree on that? I'm guessing you're saying yes. With that, buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy, because Kansas is going bye bye. I present to you a draft of the architectural structure for the tool I'm using during today's presentation. I'm calling it FGPT for Furniture GPT. As you can see, it taps into CET's source code and extracts as much product-specific information as possible from it. It then consolidates that knowledge into several data structures to allow future consumption in any other format and platform. By doing so, we can promote near instant access to the most updated version of the logic stored in our extension's source code. This also future proofs that knowledge, as it can now be automatically extracted into any other format with minimal effort. From now on, I'll demo some of the ways in which we can peek into the tool's knowledge about our products, in this case, from Fika. The first thing that I want to show you is the consolidated data for a particular Fika product. I'll go to my browser and pass a URL that contains a valid part number. Let's wait a little bit. Oh, one interesting thing, I guess, is just to see this console window here, which is basically the brain of the operation running and thinking about how to answer that request. Good. We just got a fully non-developer documentation of the code used in Fika's rectangular work surface. FGPT found all the main classes related to that functionality and appended the CIF data it has on Fika's catalog in order to create this response. Now, say that you want to send that document over to me. You do not want to worry about my broken English, so why not generate it in Portuguese? Let's do just that. Give it a little time to think about it. And again, I'm just going to show you the console window where again we get to peek behind the curtains here. And there we go, it's done. No, just for fun, let's also grab a copy of this for your 5-year-old. And no, I don't really have any of this stored anywhere. This is being done on the fly by FGPT. There we go. Cool. Being able to generate up-to-date documentation for our products with zero legwork is great, right? But not everything is so simple in software development. Let's all go together through a highly hypothetical scenario. Say that you get a call from a colleague saying, "Hey, friend, can you do something real quick for me? We really need this for the next release." Being the team player you are, you happily say, "Sure, let's talk about it over a call." You guys connect, discuss what needs to be done, and agree on the scope of the task. You get to work, and you're able to finish what was asked in record time. Let's just take a look at Visual Studio Code for a second here. Right. Cool. Hopefully the screen is not too small on your end. All right. I don't know if you noticed, but let's just go back a little bit. And this is the requirement that you got from your colleague during your call. So you're implementing a quick ship functionality on top of work surface, or more specifically, these specific dimensions for that work surface. I do have the code pre-written here because you don't want to wait me type all of this. And that's done, right? You then see the Jira ticket coming through. You tag it with your merge request, and off it goes to beta. Yay! It's going to be tested, and you're assuming it's going to be approved. You move on to the next task, feeling like $1,000,000, and your colleague feels it will be just a formality to check what you've done. You are the dream team. Well, that's until the impossible happens. The ticket goes out to be tested and it gets rejected. As soon as you see the ticket rejection, you check Jira. You read through the ticket only to find that there was a little bit more to it than you remembered. It's nothing major. You found things your colleague thought you would know had to be added as well. To them, it wasn't necessary to mention during the call. Now, that simple task requires you to return to the code and adjust it to meet all the leftover points. What if I told you that our drive to be more productive, efficient, and a team player does not need to race against our excess of confidence to verbalize all the nuances related to the information we have in our minds? In other words, what if you could be sloppy about the bureaucratic aspects of working in a team setting and have your system check itself for potential errors and misunderstandings? Well, check this out. Oh, again, let's just share the brain kind of thinking about it behind the scenes. Cool. We got our reply, requirements that were met, and requirements that were not met. And if you read this, you're going to see that those two things that the AI found not to be aligned with the requirements are exactly the two items that were actually left behind. Now, picture this functionality hooked up as an automation that is executed every time a developer submits a new merge request. It automatically reads the ticket and the code and ensures that it's out there. It could easily check for coding standards while it is at it. Just think about the possibilities for a second. 1 second later, and we can't stop just yet, right? As I said before, there are virtually no limits on how and where you can use this tool and the data it holds. Anything that provides us with an API or access to its data or source code can be used. One fun way to interact with it and prove its versatility is to use Slack as a data source. After all, if you're in Slack and the people from the company who ask you to write code for them are also in Slack, why not use Slack to do the work for both of you? Say that it's that time of the year when products are just experiencing long lead times across the board. What if you could update your product's lead time straight from Slack? Let's see it in action. All right, let's go to Slack and let me just paste this here. So I do have a channel for the bot, but the important piece here is the bot itself. So I'm just using a bot that will add the lead time for 2 weeks on a particular product here. I'm gonna send it, and the bot's gonna think about it. While it thinks about it, let's just go into CET and let's browse for that product in here. And yes, this is catalog browser. It's not a smart symbol. Just get this guy here. Let's just pick a different size as well. 24, whatever, could be anything. Let's take a look at how that's going. Still thinking about it. Let me show you the brain again. Do you know a song? You can sing a song. It's wrapping it up, re-indexing the knowledge base, and I think we're about done. Good. Now let's just go back to the web really quick. I'm gonna scroll down. This is the previous version of the documentation. Let's see how the new version of the documentation for that particular work surface is looking like. Good. Quick ship information, it's all here. But then we can see that we in fact have now a line or a section actually to describe that the lead time for one of those products was increased by 2 weeks. Nice. But wait, there's one more flavor to this soup. To spice things up even more, I'd like to introduce you to another possibility based on all we've been doing and seeing so far. What if we could make our trusty dummy data symbols smarter by proxy? First, as you would do, let's again just go in CT and add the data symbols, which we just did. And we shouldn't see anything new there just yet. Again, absolutely straightforward and basic implementation for the data that comes straight from Catalog Creator. To give you a glance on what I have up my sleeves, this is all the code that was written for this next and final part of the demo. And it should be on a vessel. This is it. Everything that you're gonna see from this point on is just boilerplate 3D related and graphics code. This first portion here is the one that actually taps into FGPT's API and parses the result. Again, nothing complex, but it's you have to write something that can actually communicate with the backend. Um, Now let's go back to CT, and I'm going to use a new button that we have right here. So I'm going to click on this button. It's again just part of the catalog browser locally for me. And what this is going to do, and I'm going to show you the behind the scenes, it is going to browse the knowledge base and see what it can learn about the products that are in my drawing from it. And you can already see what happened here. Again, this is, and I'm going to show you just a data symbol. There's nothing here other than what comes straight out of core. But now we thought it how to learn about its own lead time information. As a matter of fact, we can teach it, or we can allow it to tap into any sort of knowledge that is stored in PGC format. Therefore, we can make it smarter by proxy at zero cost. Again, not as necessarily zero, but we don't really need new code or custom code to make it work once it is implemented in CM. Quickly before we wrap up, these are the other potential applications for the infrastructure we just saw in action. Some of the potential applications, because I'm sure you might be able to think of something that's not here. Again, I would even go as far as say that sky's the limit with this thing. On the tech side, I think the GitLab integration with Jira, as you just saw kind of demo, would be very interesting. Requirement validation straight into Visual Studio Code, which is like a step further. It would allow you to validate your code as you're coding for a Jira ticket. And human to code, which again, you just saw it being done using Slack. So a human telling the machine how to behave instead of really coding it using CM. On the business side, I do see a very interesting use case for RFP and bid analysis. The lookbook-based suggestions, again, you just throw a lookbook at it and allows you to pick some products that do match that the format, and even go as far as an automated ID started and typical generation. That's actually something that I started working already, but it's a lot of work, as you can imagine. Before I wrap up, because there are no questions coming from you, at least not that I can hear, I've been sensing a lot of stress and pressure around the AI topic for a while now. And people and companies seem willing to plunge into this unknown territory in hopes of not being left behind. I felt overwhelmed when this new LLM wave started. I feared for my job stability, and I desperately tried to identify all the different ways in which AI could do my job better than I do and stay ahead of the game. The more I learned about its capabilities and especially its goals, the more I understood that this is actually making me a better developer. With my presentation today, I hope that if you still feared this new AI wave, you could see enough to turn that fear into excitement. I also hope you enjoyed it as much as I did by working to bring these ideas to life. I do realize it might be a lot to digest, and I would love to get your insight and honest opinion on whatever you think could be interesting to pursue here, hopefully together. So this can become a way to prepare ourselves for the future without committing to any particular format other than the ones we already use and love today. Special thanks to my wife, Amanda, my daughter Liz, my big friend Harmony, and Tyler, and Carrie. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.